Podcasts are hot right now. How do I know? Well, you're listening to one right now, aren't you? But you might be wondering, how on earth do I get my voice out there and start my own podcast? It all seems so intimidating. Between hosting and platforms and monetization, it can get real complicated real quick. Well, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. We started this podcast over 2 years ago, not knowing clue one on how to do it. So how did we do it? We did it with Anchor. Anchor is the free podcast app with creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. And Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on all the platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. And everybody likes money, right? Well, you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So go right now, download the free Anchor app, or go to Anchor FM to get started. It's the e-commerce minute, your daily dose of e-commerce, tech, and retail news with your host, John Suder, Bart Mroz, and Brittany Blackman. The e-commerce minute is a production of SUMO Heavy, a digital commerce consulting firm located in Brooklyn, New York, and Philadelphia. Find us on the web at sumoheavy.com. It's e-commerce minute episode 713.
In today's episode, Suitsupply debuts in-store Partitions virtual browsing sessions.
We've gotten used to things like curbside pickup, wearing masks in public, and even virtual car shopping. In-store retail is one sector where innovation is required to help merchants navigate the new normal. Suitsupply, an international tailoring brand, announced a new in-store digital features to adapt for reopening during the COVID-19 outbreak. As part of a multi-point plan, Suitsupply introduced safe shopping screens. The freestanding partitions allow for safe, up-close interaction without modifying the customer's behavior during pinning sessions. Some safety measures, such as face masks and reduced in-store capacity, are expected to ease away in the long term, but early analysis reveals customers are learning new behaviors that are expected to continue post-pandemic. To reduce the concentration of in-store guests, Suitsupply has also implemented a guided virtual experience, helping customers pre-select items for store visits through co-browsing sessions with live-style experts on Suitsupply.com, making the shopping journey more convenient and seamless. Customers are not gambling on size availability, but rather guaranteeing their selections will be waiting. The brand goes a step further with an optional appointment booking tool to reserve prepared fitting rooms and private shopping suites. While pandemics are a hefty force that impose radical changes in consumer behavior, they also ignite strategic thinking and opportunity to implement innovation. Meanwhile, more permanent options are being explored, like a sanitizing system made by Indiana-based Global Ozone Innovations, which promises to clean garments using ozone-based technology within 1 hour, with 99.95% certainty that all bacteria and viruses are killed. Shopping for most people falls under two categories: an enjoyable exploration leading to discovery, or an errand that fills a need. Suitsupply says they aim to facilitate both in a safe, satisfying, and convenient way in this new, weird world.
Alexa, play Whole New World by Aladdin.
Suitsupply is my favorite. Suitsupply is my favorite place.
You're a customer. Give us your thoughts.
Oh, I think this is great. I mean, I've always loved shopping there. They've done well, including my wedding attire. So I've always loved it. And then their suits are not that expensive, which is nice. But, you know, I wear a suit once in the blue moon now. But
like everyone else.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for years now, obviously, I used to have to wear one every day. It's a good store, good quality product. I love how they, you know, it's like very accessible sort of suits.
So what's great about this is, and this continues on the trend of a lot of our podcasts over the last 3 or 4 weeks, in that these convenience measures are being installed that are meant to promote safety, but actually winds up being a more efficient way to do your shopping, the innovation that is taking place. I mean, these are things that wouldn't have happened for many different reasons. One, you have to sit down and kind of figure all this out. And what happens is when there's a crisis, people tend to think on their feet and think a little quicker. We've seen some pretty innovative stuff come out as part of this pandemic. And a lot of these things would never be implemented because, it's too expensive. It requires retooling. It requires X, Y, and Z. Well, guess what? When $0 are coming in, somehow the energy and technology is mustered and makes these things happen a lot quicker than you'd think. Like, we're looking at this picture of the Suitsupply fitting station. Pretty cool. It's basically a glass booth. The guy stands in it, and then the tailor can reach his arms in and do his fitting without really breathing down the guy's neck, which is basically one problem with, personal services like this. I'm still waiting for that perfect solution for getting your hair done. I don't know how that's going to work yet. I'm sure everyone is waiting for that. Dentist offices are having the same problem. That's actually the worst place that you want to be now. And a lot of people are going, I'm going to go to the dentist. But, they'll figure something out, and it's all about, we've said it before, it's the way that this virus transmits is through droplets and through the air and in confined spaces. And if you have a combination of all those, it's bad news. But if you can figure out some way to mitigate those risks while still, allowing to, make a living, there's never a bad thing.
What's funny is that all of these technological advancements brought on by the pandemic are going to be measured by AC and BC, before Corona, after Corona.
Absolutely correct.
Suit buying BC was you walked in and bought a tux. Suit buying AC, it'll be really interesting to see the way that things are measured.
Yeah.
My money's on AC.
Yeah, definitely AC. Case in point, my neighbor bought a car online. She did the entire thing. She's been my neighbor for 22 years. So I've seen every car that she's owned, and she buys Subaru Outback. So it wasn't like a big, what car should I buy? She was like, I need a new Subaru Outback. Did the entire thing on the phone. I watched the guy pull up yesterday, gloves, mask. He got out. He said, up, bip, 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 bip. He'd gotten her old car and drove away. She did the whole thing online, and easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Because, the hardest thing about buying a car is just negotiating the price. And if she was able to do that online, it was great.
Negotiating prices of cars anymore it's pointless. The percentage,
everybody knows what a car costs now.
Right. So, and the percentage they make on them is nothing. So you can't really do anything about it.
Yeah. So car dealerships are working in volume. So if you're talking about a place like a suit place, it's a custom product. And that's the challenge there, is that you have to provide a custom product with minimal interaction with the consumer. That's a tough spot to be in. We did our podcast about David's Bridal last week, which does a similar thing. But these innovations now, these virtual styling appointments, Bart, we've said this for how many times about virtual doctor's appointments. These things are now going to be the norm, because people, they'll realize, and I think the companies will see it in their bottom line too, in that, hey, we can get people to complete half their shopping experience online and then just come in and finish it. Everybody wins in the end, as long as the money still comes in and as long as the transaction concludes, that's everybody wins.
Yeah. I mean, look at the doctor stuff. I think they can see more patients that way, right?
Yeah.
I mean, running back and forth, and you can do a lot more. It just gives you so much more access. Obviously not the stuff that you really have to go in for, but there's tons of people that go in for nothing and sit there for 2 hours for nothing.
Yeah, that's not good. So the one part of retail that I think is going to suffer, we'll focus specifically on clothing since that's what we're talking about here. The days of just kind of strolling around and, clawing through racks and things like that, I think that's going to be a tough one for a while. I don't know a safe way to do that. That's like the bar analogy. It's you can set the bar up and you can have every other bar stool with tape on it, but people are people, and they're still going to clump and they're still going to congregate, and that kind of ruins the whole point of trying to be safe. So there's still a lot of challenges like that. And I think there's a lot of people that still feel that they're no, you know what, I'll just order this online, or I'll just wait, or maybe I'll do without. Obviously, in our sector, in e-commerce, we've seen a lot of stats where obviously everything, the stats drove way down, way below year to year and all that kind of stuff, because people just kind of went, oh, I'm not going to spend any money. There's a real serious situation here. And now, the people are going, okay, well, this is now the new normal, and I still want a shirt because it either makes me feel better or I need a shirt for my Zoom meeting. They're just buying online. They're just going, well, this is my new normal. I'm just going to buy my clothes online. And it wasn't such a terrible experience after all. And this is the way it's going to be. So I think, we're going to see a lot of changes in retail, or smaller footprints, less just from a usability standpoint. Stores are going to have to refit themselves to make for proper flow. Because, some, like if you go into a Kohl's, you wander into an apartment and it encourages you to browse. You can't do that anymore. You can't have that kind of store anymore. And yes, this situation isn't going to last forever, but it will, it might happen again. And what happens if we open the doors and then 6 months later, it spikes again? You've got to close your doors because you didn't plan for the inevitability of this occurring again. So I think retailers have a real big responsibility here to kind of reconfigure how their layouts are. And, obviously we get these creative solutions like Suitsupply, which is great for the more personalized experience. But getting back to it, I don't see people just, strolling through Target to look for a t-shirt. I think they're going to look online And then, buy online, I'll use my favorite, Boppus. They're going to do Boppus, buy online, pick up in store. They're going to do the research. They're going to do the research online. They're going to know what they're looking for, and it sucks because there's certain parts of shopping that, okay, I just want to go look. I just want to go look around. I want to go play with the blenders. I want to go look at the toasters. And I think we're going to see a lot less of that. I think people are going to be doing their window shopping online and then going, okay, I'm in the store. I need this. I'm getting the hell out of here. And rant. Over. Close this one little stud time. 65% of women say they will not feel safe trying on clothes in dressing rooms due to the COVID-19 crisis, according to a survey by retail predictive analytics company First Insight. The firm fielded 1,066 responses from consumers on April 30th. Meantime, 55% of men will not feel safe using dressing rooms, the survey found. And 66% of women and 54% of men say they will not feel comfortable working with sales associates in retail stores. Yikes. That's pretty big. Yeah, it's tough. Retail's going to have a tough time here because you can't just put plastic barriers around people. It's going to be hard, especially the way the stores are set up. All right, that's enough for me. You guys got anything else?
Nope.
All right, that's your e-commerce minute for today. We'll see you on the internet tomorrow. That's it for today's show. If you like the show, do us a favor and subscribe or leave us a review on iTunes. And don't forget, you can now listen to the e-commerce minute on your Amazon device. Just add e-commerce minute to your flash briefing. And finally, if you have a comment or suggestion or just want to say hi, find us on social media at SUMO Heavy.